Still off air and you're live. Yeah, so as I had said earlier, hi guys, welcome to CSS Grids and to CSS Flex presentation. This is your one-stop presentation to understanding CSS Grids and Flex. Thanks to me and my awesomeness, we'll get to understand these things. Yeah. So, yeah, about me, as you can see, open source enthusiast, top developer, designer, community leader. I will give you the link to my site. Actually, yeah, you can't. I know. So, can you hear me? Am I muted? No, I'm not. Okay, so I said the main reason we use grids is to separate our website into columns and all that, rows, having different sections on a single row or column without interfering with the HTML and all that. You can go to craftycoder.ml. I want you to see the idea I was telling you about. craftycoder.ml. I want you to see the one I was telling you about responsiveness in using grids. You can have 3 things here, but on the mobile they will come into a singular line. Yeah, so in your free time you can check on that. That will explain it to you better. So yeah, that's it. So grids, they were brought about, I think, last year, 2017 May, and that's when Firefox and Chrome started supporting the grid system by default. Every new version that comes up with the default grid support, apart from Opera Mini. On Opera, you have to go to settings and enable Chrome testing, something Chrome.something.something. I can't recall I think it was on my notes. No, yeah. In Internet Explorer, it's only made available partially. And when writing the code and you want to use grid system, you use the -ms dash. They're very selfish. They don't want to use the other styles. They want to be unique. For what reason? -ms dash in order to use the grid system. And since March, yeah, it was accurate. March 2017, it was made default by those guys, Firefox and Chrome, the famous web browsers. And in Edge, it's partially supported using the MS, and Opera, you have to enable on settings. You go to, there was some URL that you go to, but I can't recall as well. So if you're using Opera, you're disadvantaged in that you can't view the sites made with grid well. So initially, before the grid system came by, we used to have divs. We used to have divs. Linda, Akim, stay here. We used to have divs nested in divs. So the reason we had this, right now, we can have one div that wraps it all, and maybe our different sections. This is the header, this is the maybe right content, the div for the right content, the div for the left one, the div for the sidebar, and the div for the footer. Just that. And then you close the container, wrapping it all. But initially, we used to have a div. This is a div. And then we have this one as another one. And then this one as another one. and one surrounding all of it, and another one surrounding all of it. The code was ugly. I'll just let me show you an example here. So initially we used to use nested divs. My bad there. To get and use of flexbox for our styling to achieve the grid, what the grid system helps us today. So flex is only available for the rows and column views. You can't put others on a row and others on a column. They have to be either strictly rows or strictly columns. Yeah, so this way we can't have them arranged in any other way, and wrapping wouldn't be of much help to us, since in this case flex is really amazing, is a really amazing tool for styling, but we can't use it for the grid system. It will cause too much HTML code and too much styling involved too. The flex CSS property specifies how a flex item will grow or shrink so as to fit the space in the flex container. Yeah, so let me show you. Yeah, so this is how we used to write this old technique. This is how we used to write to achieve the styling I showed you. This one. This is how we used to achieve this. But nowadays, we are using just one div wrapping it all, and the other one. And the other items inside the wrapper. So what this is what is achieved with the code. I'll show you the styling later. But you can have a section 1, 2, 3, and in any order you can have even 6 in place of 1, depending on how you decide to put it. Yeah, so where was I was here. So flex can be set to the following values when in use: auto, initial, none, or even a positive number. So on auto, you set it to fill the container and occupy the rest of the remaining space. So it fits there, and if it remains, there is a remaining space, it occupies the space. And if it's of minimum height or width, it will shrink to fit in the width or height. Yeah, and initial is the default value. If you don't specify what to be used by flex, it will use the initial attribute. Yeah, attribute. So this is sized according to the height and width properties, and they do not enlarge or decrease in size to fit in the nested div, the wrapper in our case. So according to height, completely inflexible. So none is same as writing flex 00 out. That it's like saying flex display. Yeah. Before you use flex, you have to say display flex. I hope I'm clear. If you have any question, please ask. But I know. Yeah. But it won't enlarge in size or shrink to fit in the div. Unlike auto, if you had a div that is 500 by 500 and you have flex, 2 items inside it, one is 400 by 250 and the other one is 400 by 250, this remaining space 100 won't be occupied. But when you have auto, this one will enlarge to fill the space. Yeah, but initial, which is the default value for flex, won't occupy. Yeah, so and flex none is like having no flex. It's like saying flex 00 auto. If you want to disable it, you just say flex 00 auto. And positive numbers, just the item is given the specified proportion of free space in the container. This is equivalent to the setting flex positive number 10. You can say 1001, depending on what you want. We'll get to more details later. So I had an example code. Let me show you code. We have like 20 to go. We have like 20 minutes to go. Oh, fuck. Okay. So, so we want to see how flex is achieved, right? So we say vim flex dot html. Vim is an editor, is a text editor. So with flex, I put 4 examples to show how flex is done. And we can have flex.css. Oh my god. Yeah. So we can have this. This is our HTML and this is our CSS. So with flex, you can have them arranged in a row or a column strictly, unlike grid. Grid is flexible. You can decide to have it in whatever form you want. But when you have flex, you have to put it in a, they have to be arranged in a row or a column. Sorry. So if we open the file, let me open the file so that you can see. Flex. So this is how flex is. So in the first example, we have flex arranged in a row. Yeah, so this is this example here. As you can see, flex, and we have the first one, flex direction. We use flex direction to show how they will be arranged. So our flex direction is row, and our padding is, I leave alone the padding, but we just want to look at flex. I put the padding so that it can look presentable at least. So we have flex direction row, and flex column container, this one, our direction is column. So this one is a row. They're arranged in a row, and these ones are arranged in a column. And as you can see, the numbers, row box 1, row box 2, row box 3, row box 1, row box 2, row box 3. So this one is a row, this one is a column. And we have another one, row reversed. So if you want to start from here, 3, 2, 1, and then this one, arranged in that order, we will have what is the styling here? Flex row reverse container, display flex, and then the flex direction is row reverse. So here is the example. We start with 3, 2, 1, and then the box. We also have column reverse. I hope you can see where my cursor is. This place. Yeah. So we have flex direction column reverse. So it's a column, but it's reverse, starting with 3, 2, 1, then the box. Unlike here, the column was flex box 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So that's it, and that's it about flex. So let's go on. Let's proceed to grid. I was trying to show you that flex is for either arranging in a row or a column. Yeah, and it can go reverse in either way. Uh-huh. Yeah, you can use flex, but you know there are many other options other than flex. We'll get to those ones as time go by. Yeah, you can ask and unmute yourself when you speak. Sharing. Are you sharing? Okay. Ask. Yeah. Have you unmuted yourself? Have you unmuted yourself? Just unmute yourself.
Okay, so this picture that is here, if to say I want to put this rare photo like this, I put it in a box. Is there a way I can position it to come this other side?
Yeah.
Using flex.
Yeah, using flex you can.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
So flex, basically flex, it's a flexible thing that you can use to flexible tool
Position
to
things
position things anywhere on your website.
on a row
Or row or
or a
column.
column. Yeah. But you can't spread them that these two items will stay on a row and these other three will stay on a column.
You can't?
Yeah, unless you put them in different wrappers.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll draw an example and show you what it entails. So for grid, where we create a container, as you can see, I had put these divs. The first div is the wrapper, the container. So this one is where we have the container, and this is where the container is closed. And then we have our boxes here. These boxes are this one. But the container is the one containing all of them. Yeah. So on this one, we have the wrapper. This is our container. This is where we say display grid. Look here. Display grid, the one with the blue black background. So display is grid. As you can see, the one using flex is ugly. They will return the same output, but this is quite ugly compared to this one. This one is neat. You can say that this is the wrapper and this is the 1, 2, 3, all that. Yeah. So we have this wrapper 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and so well, on the wrapper, the class wrapper, that's where you will have the display grid or display inline grid on the element. As soon as inline grid is the attribute for the display. What is for the display attribute of the div we want to. This is the styling. Yeah. So when you say display grid, all the divs inside that div will have the effect of grid. Let me go forward and then you'll see. As soon as you do this, all children of that element will become grid items. So this is the grid container and these are the grid items. Yeah. And in our case, we use the wrapper div, the class wrapper, as you had seen. So as CSS grid flow can go either direction, but by default it's set to row. So a grid, like columns, a grid by default goes in a row, but you can make it go in a column as you want it. So if you need to change the direction of the autoflow to columns, you can use something grid autoflow. You can put it as column or row. So grid items, you use grid items. Your CSS grid items are div elements inside your container. Each item behaves similar to the TD tag in a table. You all know the table tag. Yeah, it has TDs inside TRs, all that. So this is where, so the one on the right and the one on the left will achieve the same result. So this uses flex, this uses the grid system. The styling for the grid layout. So we have the wrapper and we say display is grid, right? And then the grid template columns, we have 3. We have only 3 sections. So even if we have the header occupying all the 3, we can have an item 1, 2, and 3 being occupied. And then we can have one only taking 2 and another one taking 1, and maybe the footer taking the whole of it. It all depends with what you want. So we can use fractions or the FR tag or keyword. Yeah. So I'll get to the code later if you have any questions. So tracks can be defined using any length unit. Grid also introduces an additional length unit to help us create flexible grid tracks. The new FR unit represents a fraction of the available space in the grid container. So if we say 1/3, it will occupy 1 of these 3. If we say 2/3, this one occupies 2/3. But this one occupies 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. This one occupies the whole of it. It will have only 1. It's like saying 3/3. It's just 1. So if you write 1, it will know it's occupying the whole of it. Yeah. So the next grid definition will create 3 equal width tracks that grow and shake according to the available space. So this is the result of the other code that you had said. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you have any questions, but before we go to questions, let me go to this code, grid example. So we can have the grid.html. So the code I just showed you, this was the result. And I also have another one, grid demo. Here we have grid and flex. So should we start with the grid or the flex? Which one? Flex. So let me go with the flex. So this is flex. This is achieved by flex. So as you can see, we have, it's like having one big one wrapping all this, one big div, wrapping all these elements, the header, the main content, the footer, and the sidebar. And then inside the div, we have one div, which is this one, the header. And then we have another one covering the main, footer, and sidebar. Inside that div, we have another div containing this one, main, and footer, and another one, sidebar. So on the one containing main, and footer, we have 2 other divs. The other div is the footer, and the other one contains 2 items, which is the main content and the main content. of which now inside this we say display flex, the main and the main, and then the direction will be row. The one containing the three of them will have display as column. The one containing the four of these will have display as row, the flex direction row. And then containing all of them, it will be column. Let me go to the code and then I show you. Uh, yeah, so as you can see, we have the header. This one is on its own, this div. So it's opened here and closed here. And then we have the container containing now all this other, the main, the footer, and the sidebar. So in this container, we have the main, which contains these two. So the display, the flex will be, let me open the CSS too. On the main container, we have a height of 30 viewport height. This VH is viewport height. So from VH, 30 VH, viewport height. From here, the top to the bottom is 100 VH. It's like percentage. Yeah. So this is like 30% of the total height. So we have main content. I want this content container. Content container. And the one containing all of it is this one. This one. The class flex. Displays flex. Here, as you can see. And then we have the content container with two. This is the content container. It has two. It takes two of three. Yeah, as you can see. This is the sidebar. This one, two. So even this footer takes two of these three. Yeah. And then we have a box and a box, of which the box takes, these others are just styling to make it look better. We have no flex attributes here. Yeah, so and then you have the footer. Footer and header both have a viewport height of 30. That makes 100. It's not fitting perfectly due to this. I have not maximized my screen. That's why we have that. So, and then we can go to grid. Yeah, so as you can see, this code is a bit neat. We only have one div. Uh, we only have one div, which is the grid container. And then what we want inside the container here. So if we open that grid file, xdg, cd grid, full xdg. So this is what is, the other one was, this one is the flex, this is the grid. They've achieved the same output, right? Yeah. No, you either choose flex or grid. Yeah. But yeah, let's look at the code. We have this one with this styling. And we have cd. We have this one. So as you can see, this HTML code and this other HTML code, which one looks simpler to understand? This one and this one. No, this side. We're comparing that side and this side. Here we have a container, and then we have a header, main section, sidebar, and footer. And this other one, we have header, a div, and then inside we have another div, and then inside we have another div where we have the main and the section. Ile ingine ni simpler, right? Yeah. So here, as you can see, the styling, we have display grid. This is the grid container. This one and this one. This is the styling for this container, of which we have display grid and the grid gap, which is the one separating these things. This red part. The grid is 5px. Px. We can even use ems. Let me put 10 so that you can see the difference. NPX. So this red part is the grid gap, the one separating the items. And then we have template areas. So what we're basically saying is like saying we have only three sections in a row. So the first one, can you help me with oh, so the first one we have, it's like saying we have this, right? This is the head. So we have three sections, of which all of the first row will be occupied by the header alone. That's why we have header, header, and header. Yeah. And now the second one, we have the main section. Oh, the main section and the sidebar. Is it the main section or the main section? Main section. No, it's main and section. Main section and then the sidebar. And then here the footer, we have footer, and the sidebar. And this one is the sidebar too. So it means sidebar occupies this space. The whole of this. So main, content, footer, and this is the sidebar. So this one was header, main, section, sidebar, and then footer, sidebar. So sidebar and sidebar are in the same place, so it's joined. So we'll have a site with a header, a section, a sidebar, and a footer. Yeah. Nani ameelewa? Inua mkono. Uh-huh. Yeah, ask. Chukua hii. Kumbe nang'ang'ana na kuna kitu inaandika hapa vizuri. Hata mniambie. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mhm. Mhm. Mm. Mm.
the first part here in this way on the left, itakuja kwa like further left. Is there a way you can push it to like to the center using grids na flex?
No. So centering things like this, these are div, sindio?
Yeah.
So in a div, and then we have this is like ul, and then these are li's. Kuna items zenye ni li, and then this ul, and then we close our ul here. We close it, we open it here. So you want them to be center.
Yeah.
So here we can, this is another topic. It's not, we can justify content center, and then we align items center, and then maybe you can say display flex, and then they will all come here. So we will have this div, the header div. So the header div only contains the navbar alone. So we can have it like this, and then here you have this a div, umefunga hapa, si ndio? And then we have ul, umefungua hapo, ukafunga hapa, si ndio? And then here we have li, home, about, what. Yeah, so hii ndio header yako, umezipatia class header, and then this list useme maybe styling, utaki zile dots. Unajua list zinatokana na dot, you remove them. And then after that you can say display flex, zikuje zisikuwe hivi, zikuwe hivi. Sawa?
Flex is to
Zinaenda either in a row or column. Default ni row. If you want to specify a column, utasema flex direction equal column, of which
so ukiandika hapa flex, ukiandika hapa display unaandika
flex
column ama flex.
No, yeah, just leave it at this because unataka iende hivi. Na ndio default. Utaeka tu max styling and yet it is catered for. So by default ul ina listing vitu hivi. But when you say display flex zitaenda hivi, si ndio?
Yeah.
And then you justify content to center, and then you align items center. So zitakuwa kutoka hapa hadi hapa venye unataka tu. What zitakuwa tu hapa. Yeah. So this is our div. Wapi? Yeah. Yeah, you see, I think mshafanya. Simlisoma Code Academy. Yeah, so hii ni div. Yeah, actually umechora at least naweza ona visa vizuri. So hii ni div kubwa. Tuko na div yenye nafungua hapa. Yeah. Tuko na div, si ndio? And then we close the div here. Hii ni container. Sawa. And then hii div imefungwa. As in tuko na div moja ya hii, div ingine ya pili, ya tatu, ya nne na ya tano. We have 5 of them. Sawa. Alafu kwa angalia screen, grid template areas hapa hivi. Sawa. So tumesema si ziko in 3, zingekuwa in 5 tungeandika header mara 5. Header. But they are in 3, in which tukiweka dividers itakuwa hivi. Sawa, sijawachanganya hapo, si ndio? Yeah. So tuko na div hapa, tumesema hii itakipewa na header yote, the first one. And then ya pili tumeoccupy na main na content na sidebar, si ndio? Hapa hivi ni sidebar. Alafu ya tatu tumesema ni footer. Kumbuka kuna line hapa, an imaginary line. Tuko na footer sidebar. So itatokea ikiwa hivi, juu ni header 3, si ndio? And then we have the main, the content and the sidebar, si ndio? And then we have the footer and the sidebar again. So sidebar imeshikanishwa. So this is how we have it. You can even have another section utasema maybe yeah, footer maybe tuipatie jina ingine, alafu sasa ikuwe footer. Hii ni header. That's why imechukua the 3 spaces. So tumegawanya into 3. Tungegawanya into 4 tungesema header. Alafu hii maybe ichukue 2, hii ichukue 1, hii ichukue 1. But ni lazima account for all the 3. Sawa? Yeah, so we have here main, content and sidebar, footer, sidebar, and then maybe tukiwa na hii tungeweka hivyo. So ukishasema hivyo, and then we have the template rows. Rows ni hizi. So we have the viewport height. Viewport height, si unaona screen yako ya laptop, si hivi ndo laptop yako inakaa, si ndio? And then you have the so si screen yako iko hivi, kutoka hapa hadi hapa, that is the viewport height. So inachukuanga 100 viewport height. Sasa tumeigawanya 100 into 42, 22 and 32, ama tunaweza sema 33.3 zitakuwa of equal height. Tukiweza change hii, unaona venye iko saizi, this header section is larger than the main content. Unaona main content hapa hivi, place ya katikati iko na 22, si ndio? Yeah, so tunaenda hivi, angalieni hapa hivi, sawa? So hii ni 42, and then we have 22, and then we have 32. Tukiziweka zote zikuwe same, tuseme ikuwe 32, delete 32. Tukisave, tunaona venye ilikuwa, hii ilikuwa 42, 22, 32. Tukirefresh, hizi ziko same. Hii ni 32 and 32 and 32. That is the viewport height yenye tumeweka. Yeah. But si lazima utumie viewport height, you can just use your own measurements. Maybe ifit tu na content. Kama paragraph yenye umeweka ndiko hapo, ifit to that. Sawa? Yeah. So, and then the areas zenye tuko nazo, you can check here. So now these tags, this is the header tag, this is the main tag. Look on the left side. Header, main, section, sidebar and footer. So ndo hizi hapa, header, main, footer, sidebar and section. Sawa? Yeah, so the grid area, these are the grid areas. Sawa? These ones. These are the grid areas, of which tuko na grid area yenye ni header, alafu tuko na main, tuko na footer, tuko na hizo, and then tume specify colors. Hii tunaweza ipatia color pia. Unajua default color inakuanga white. Sawa? So hata kama tungetoa hizi color white ungeona, but let me put blue ndio uone kenye namaanisha. So it was change. Grid area footer. So ilikuwa hapa. Uko na swali? So nikikuuliza swali utajibu. Ah. Aha. Yeah, so yako ni kabisa. Linda, umeelewa 100%? Zime? Aha, Dedan.